Let me say good morning to one and all, wherever you're at, and you're listening to K105. Good morning to you, wherever you're in the south of the island, the northern part of the island, the east coast, the west coast. Good morning. In the sister isles, Carrie, Coup, Petit Martini. Good morning. Those of you via GBN TV, wherever you're viewing via Channel 7, Channel 11, or Channels 20. Good morning to you. Let me say good morning also to our social media audience this morning. Those of you via our Facebook page, good morning. Don't forget when you of course, tune in via the Facebook page. Don't forget you can share the live. Those of you who are viewing via YouTube channels also, good morning to you and welcome. It's To The Point for today, Friday, our final edition for this week of To The Point. It's the 7th day already within the month of October. And I'm assuming those of you who are viewing this morning, I guess you can view two lovely ladies in studio with me this morning. And we have a pretty interesting subject lined up that we will be speaking about this morning. So before we think about introducing the subject matter and so forth, I'm going to let the ladies introduce themselves, and let's start with the lady to my far right. Good morning to you.
Good morning, GT. Good morning to the listeners and viewers of GBN Radio and TV. I am Serina Mitchell. I am a trained journalist. I am a singer. I'm a writer. I am a creative person by heart. I doodle. I wouldn't call it I'm an artist. I just to segue off, but I remember as a teenager in church, I was sitting there, the priest was doing his homily, and I was just doodling away on my praise the Lord. And he came up to me afterwards and he said to me, either you're very smart or you're crazy. I'm sorry, but that always stands out to me. I always remembered him saying that, and I looked at him like, huh?
What is he talking about, right?
Yeah, well, later on I found out. Yes, and I am a member of Friends of the Mentally Ill, and World Mental Health Day is on Monday, and we are here to talk about mental health, myself and Maria Natalie Smith-Williams.
All right. Well, of course, you did the introduction for Natalie, but I'll still allow her to make a formal introduction herself. Good morning to you, Natalie. We'll go right ahead.
Good morning, GT. Good morning to the listeners of GBN Radio Television and those in the diaspora. My name is Maria Natalie Smith-Williams, and I am a homemaker. I do a little bit of backyard gardening. I'm a business person at heart, and I'm looking for business opportunities so that I can venture into. I am a member of several local organizations, including Friends of the Mentally Ill. Right. Thank you for having us.
And certainly welcome to both of you once again. And as, of course, Serina, introduced, of course, in her introduction herself, this morning we're talking about, this particular group, Friends of the Mentally Ill. I'm not sure which one of you two would like to give us a bit of a synopsis, just a open way of just what this entire group is about, Friends of the Mentally Ill. Although it speaks for itself some way or the other.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But give us something about the group, the formation, why it was formed, and so forth, that we can move forward. Who would like to take that opportunity to do that this morning?
Okay, well, I will start. Serina would help me. Friends of the Mentally Ill is a local NGO started in 1998, about 24 years now. Yeah. And it was started by some visionaries, some people who saw what was going on in the country and needed to bring forth an intervention. Our objectives are to help with educating the public, because we saw that there is a need for that, and also to bring support to patients, because a lot of the times we notice that the families don't support people who are mentally ill. They see them as being crazy already, and it's
speaking in a flat layman terms.
Yes,
that's how they see you.
Yes, and it's difficult for them sometimes to understand and to manage the patients. So that's why we're here to sort of bring education and to speak to the families, to help them to understand that these are human beings and they just had physical challenge. They just challenged in that particular way, and they need love and they need understanding. But because sometimes we don't understand what is going on with them, we tend to treat them in a particular manner. So sometimes a lot of the patients end up on the street. And so we need to be able to have the community, the families and the community to understand that, if you give them love, attention, if you take care of them, that they could recover from that illness. So that's why we're here. We have programs and activities, to be able to help them. But we have our challenges in that sometimes we don't have enough support. So, we look for new members, people who are interested in assisting in any way possible. We look for new members to be able to help us to execute our plans and programs.
As you spoke about, the support of the group, tell us about the makeup of the group, in terms of the amount of persons who are involved and so forth in this particular group, Friends of the Mentally Ill, if that's something you can actually tell me.
Well, the grouping is very small. We have about 20 persons, is a lot of retired persons who are part of the group, and we have some families, but not a lot. So, as I said, we're looking for other persons to join our ranks so that we can do as much as we can. We have fundraising activity, but as I said, the grouping is small, so sometimes we have to go over there and we ask for people to sponsor, we ask for partnerships, and so to be able to help us. We don't have much people for such a big program because the need is there. There's a growing need. If you look at the amount of persons who are admitted at the mental hospital, we cannot take care of all of them because of this small grouping. And we're practically the only group that's there to be able to lend that assistance to the hospital and to the patients.
Because you just said something again that would lead to another question I'd like to ask. You mentioned that you are the only grouping per se in Grenada
that we know of. Yes,
we know of that is able to focus or lend that kind of assistance to folks with these kind of disability. I like to call it a disability, if you don't mind me saying so.
Well, it falls under disability.
That, right?
Yes.
So, how challenging is it for the group per se in terms of offering that assistance?
Well, from my understanding, as far as I see, due to the stigma associated with mental illness, even if you seek partnerships, there might be that pull off. The reason being is that someone might not want their business to be associated with mental illness. To speak in all layman's terms, where you going to join up with these crazy people and them for? So we have that challenge, and we need to understand that people with mental illness, or if you want to put it, mental disorders, because it's a group of disorders that interrupts your life. If you realize that people with mental challenges, mental disorders, they're human beings, as Natalie said. I should not say we are human beings, because I live with bipolar disorder. And it's not something that I hide from or run from. It is something that I live with, I take medication for, and due to the fact that it has enhanced my life, because if it was not for it, I would not be singing, writing the way I do. So I don't look at the negatives. Yes, the negatives could outweigh it, but I don't dwell there. So as a result, I see it for the positive that it is. And as Maria was saying, the need for support, community and family, community involving church, it's necessary. It's so necessary, because the way we're looking at it now is that people with mental disorders, you need support. And many a times you do not have the support, family, community, otherwise. Family might believe that you're seeking attention, you want money, you want man, you want, let's be honest.
Being a bit real with the
yes, we're being real. When the reality is you have a challenge, and it's manifesting in a way that people do not understand. The first thing that many people do is run to the priest or the pastor. That's fine, because I did it myself. Okay? But there is so much they can do, especially if they do not understand psychology or mental health.
No one even know what you're thinking.
Exactly. So they might pray with you. Nothing's wrong with prayers. I'm not bashing it, but there's so much the prayers can do. There are people trained to help you, so work with the prayers and work with the people trained to help you. There's something that I want to point out is that our mental health is so important, because whether or not you're challenged, we all go through some form in some way or the other during the day of our life. We go from sometimes we might watch the news and it affects us. We might feel sad. We might hear a song, it uplifts us. That all of that is part of it. It regulates. It's all part of it. And our mental well-being is important. As a matter of fact, the theme for World Mental Health is make mental health and well-being for all a global priority. And the need for that comes out, we should see, as a result of COVID-19. You know, the talk about mental health and mental well-being became louder than usual, because we were in rooms, we were in houses, and you are all surrounded by 4 walls when we were under lockdown, and many people don't know how to handle that.
That's so true.
And it affected many of us, if we be realistic about it. And so what we have to look at is that if you see a family member, if you yourself included, if you find that if you find a family member, because that family member may not realize that something is going wrong, but some people could check themselves. You find you're sleeping too much or you're not sleeping enough. You're eating too much or you're not eating enough. You're having thoughts that you do not understand. All these things, seek help. Don't hide it. We have this thing about, well, what's going on with me? You might run by the pastor or the priest, and you stop there. If you get cut, if you get hurt, you run to the hospital, you run to your family physician. Go to your family physician first, I would suggest. That person might be able to refer you to a psychologist. Do not be afraid, do not be ashamed, do not hide. Because when you deteriorate, you have no one.
And the repair stages now becomes even more difficult.
It is very, 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 talking from my experience, and I continue to live it, it is hard. Because you have to go from zero, and especially if you do not have support, to somewhere where you can actually contribute to your life and society.
All right, Serina, let me ask you this, because you spoke a lot about you having bipolar for yourself. How is it for you to be able to do this now? How is it for you? How this thing started for you? Are you able to go back there and come forward?
Sure, certainly.
How was that?
Well, I was, when it came on, the full onset, it came on when I was living out of Grenada. And as a matter of fact, when I was working with a therapist in the US, I was able to backtrack and realize that I had been going through mania and depression since my teenage years, and I didn't understand. I remember I used to wonder, why am I feeling so down? Why am I feeling so? Maybe I should do this. And that's me. I'm the proactive person. So if I see I don't have food, I'm going to start planting. So I would come up with an idea. Maybe I should do this with my friends. Maybe I should do that. So I'm finding outside things to fix whatever's going on.
Kind of find yourself being overactive.
Right. So trying to fix whatever's going on, but in reality, I'm deteriorating slowly.
Not fixing yourself.
Exactly. And so after my daughter's birth, I suffered postpartum depression. That was the boom. It manifested in that way, and then I started to really deteriorate. And family didn't understand. They thought I was seeking attention. They thought I wanted money. I wanted this. I wanted honey. If I had $10 billion, I would give it away so I can have peace. Money means nothing if you do not have peace or mental well-being.
All right.
And it got to a point where I had to go to the hospital. I mean, I had no control over myself. My behaviors changed. I had no control over I could go back in my mind and certain things I remember. And it makes you feel, Lord, did I do that? You know, like Urkelwood, did I do that? And yeah, it's like, I did that, you wonder, and then I come out of the state that could make you feel embarrassed and down, and realize that was me reacting out of the ability to control. Okay, I had no control or ability to regulate and so on. So I had to understand that. As a matter of fact, because of my background in journalism, when this came on board, I started to research. This is who I am. I want to understand this. I want to know what is happening, why it's happening, how it's happening, how my brain is working. So I started to research, and I researched psychology. I researched everything I could research, and anything that could help me, I tried to understand how can it help. I went as far as acupuncture. I was like, if there is a food that I can actually eat that would make this stop, I would have a monopoly on it.
But when you say make it stop, what was really happening to you per se?
I had racing thoughts. I had should I just put it in layman terms? I saw things that were not there. Right. I heard voices. It was to a point I couldn't control my behavior. You understand? And I realized that when I went to the hospital and came through, I realized that so I'm crazy. I'm like,
so you're actually asking yourself that?
Yeah. I'm crazy, and then no, I'm not. So it's like a conversation. You go in and you yourself. I'm not crazy because, of course, how we were brought up, crazy is all the way over there. You're on the street. You're this. You're that.
You're looking at as totally disoriented individual. Yes, that's what we call folks of that nature.
And then I said, no, I'm not. And then I learned to listen to the doctors, and of course, there was around me those who were saying, you are it's obia. It's no, that's where we go.
I know. I'm getting your points. I'm getting your points across.
Witchcraft, that sort of thing. And I refuse to go down that line. The reason being is that I lean to the side of science. It made sense. And what I must say is that the thing that I fought the most, and I would say it every time, is the medication. I'm a Grenadian. I'm a West Indian. And my mother used to ask me if I was a Rastafarian when I was younger, because I would be not taking no foreign substance into the body. I would not take multivitamins. I eat fruits and vegetables.
So you're feeling that already? You don't need it?
Yeah, I was in that mindset. I did not like the idea of taking something that I can get from Mother Nature. And I fought it. But I deteriorated. I fought it and I deteriorated. And I had to understand that, hey, people came before me who took the time to try to understand these illnesses, these disorders that, they've booked together in this big book they call the DSVM, MV or VM or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying it correct. They have done the studies. They have done the work to help people like me. People who were before me suffered immensely. They drilled holes in their head. They did all sorts of things to them. They shocked them. In some places, the shock therapy is still going on. So, a lot people with mental disorders have suffered terribly, physically, emotionally, society, everything. And so I had to come to the realization, hey, people worked on this to try to understand, and they are able to help you with a pill. Stop seeing it as the enemy and start seeing it as a friend. Okay? And it's a work in progress still. I'm telling you, there are times I really don't want to take this pill every day. I don't.
But have you seen from the onset of taking those pills, has it brought some sort of relief for you?
Yes, of course. That's why I'm able to be a part of society, to be able to work within society. I must say that I hope you don't think I'm talking too much, man.
Go right ahead.
I must say that it has helped. As with everything, there are side effects. And so for some people, it might manifest to what is called tardive dyskinesia, where the mouth moves. Some people might have dribbles or so. I give thanks that I don't have that. I mean, knock on wood. I give thanks for that. Don't know what else is happening in the body as a result with the liver and the kidney or whatever with the pills, but I know I can see weight gain. I have to work on that really hard. It is very hard because when you keep putting it on and it's like totally really hard to work on it.
I understand.
And but the positives for me outweigh the negatives at this time.
All right.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. You have heard conversation from individuals. I'm sure you may have heard of that. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's a problem that comprises of the mind, mm-hmm. you always doctors, or you may have doctors say, or folks may say, that individual may need to fix themselves. How do you believe in that?
What I can say,
I said to say this because they say once someone has an issue with their mind, mm-hmm. Some may have the permission of saying, well, I don't think a doctor can fix an individual's mind in terms of their thoughts or what they want to do. Mm-hmm. It's something you as an individual, because a doctor cannot see into your brain. What
exactly. So I am in agreement to the point where it's not a one thing. Mm-hmm. It's a holistic approach. That's why I was saying from the beginning, do not bash the spirituality aspect of it. So you have to take care of your mind, body, spirit. What you eat is important, because if you eat too much sugar, it can make you anxious, it could make you all sorts of ways, which falls under mental disorders, anxiety. It could make you jumpy all over the place. So what you eat, it's encouraged that you eat healthy foods, your fruits and vegetables, pack yourself with that, drink lots of water, get rest, sleep well, have conversations with people whom you trust, but you have to do the work yourself. You cannot expect the doctor to go in your mind, as you said, and fix you. You have to affirm yourself on a daily basis. You have to think positive thoughts. I know some people like think positive thoughts. Yeah, you have to speak positive over yourself, because when you see the thoughts, it's easy to go to the negative. Once you start rolling around the negative, man, it's picking up speed and you're just thinking, I'm worthless, I'm stupid, I'm crazy, I'm this, I'm that. You're going the negative
and you
road.
Think that's the way to go.
Yeah, but you have to put in now the positive, and that's work. And a lot of us don't want work.
All right, stick up in there. Let's take a break inside the segment. Coming right back. Interesting conversation this morning. It's to the point for today, Friday. We coming right back after the break. Don't touch it dial.
National Insurance Scheme continues to make it easy to access our services using the MyNIS online platform. Now we're introducing a new feature that allows you to submit your benefit claims from the convenience of your smart devices. No paper, no hassle. All you have to do is log in to my.nisgrenada.org. Select claims, fill out the relevant information, and click submit. We'll take it from there. It's that simple and that easy. Submit a claim from the comfort of your home as you rest and recuperate. Enjoy the convenience of faster claim processing and monitor the status of your claim every step of the way. We are excited to introduce this new feature to better serve you. NIS is changing the game and the way you make your claim. Access anywhere and anytime with MyNIS Online.
The most anticipated event to end 2022 is here. The 12th edition of the Wagiti Super Knockout Football Championship starts on Saturday, 15th October at the Victoria Park, Grenville. It's two big opening games. From 7 p.m. Game 1, 5 Stars St. Andrew versus St. David's United. 9 p.m. Game 2, Moncton Sports Club versus Sunsetter Sports Club. Then after the games, we head stateside for the young and upcoming trending Jamaican artists. 450. 450. Alongside Vanessa Bling.
Give me good loving, yeah.
The Octane Band and top local artists. Let's Nag Mr. Wacky and Brighter Star. Admission only $40.
Well, I say welcome back once again to our listeners and viewers to the point for today, Friday, and certainly an interesting conversation. And don't forget, those of you who are viewing and listening this morning, if you want to chime in, I'm probably going to be opening up the phone lines just about the latter part of the program, say the final 10 minutes or so. You may have a question or two you may like to ask Serina and Maria. Certainly, once it's within the range, I would love to, of course, answer it. But let's continue with the conversation this morning. Maria, let me. You've been quiet for a wee bit, sit back there listening a whole lot to Serina, of course.
Yes,
she's been saying a lot, and what she's saying has not been wrong. What she's saying is very, very interesting. It's certainly gotten my attention rolling a whole lot. You know, makes you think about yourself too as individuals. You know, something makes you think. One of the questions I would like to ask you, Maria, pertaining to you being part of the group for the Friends of the Mentally Ill, or the grouping or the organization per se. How is it that what sort of how can I put this? What would you like to in terms of what the grouping? What would you like to see them do to help individuals, or would you like to continue doing? I guess you've been doing a whole lot already. What would you like to see the group continue doing to help individuals with those particular problems?
Well, as I said before, we have activities. We have a fundraising activity around the Easter time at Danny Williams' residence in Wester Hall, where we have an Easter tea party. So we raise funds to be able to help patients, really. But there are a number of different things. For instance, the patients need a lot of things, because I said a lot of them end up sometimes on the streets. So sometimes they don't have a home because the family don't want them at home. So they need a place to stay. We don't have any housing or any land or anything to be able to put them up. You know, so they end up like vagrants. And, you know, vagrancy is a problem in our society. So I would like for us to come up with something really to be able to house them. We don't have, as I said, we don't have the funds, we don't have the facilities or so, but there's somebody over there who have information and who could assist us and be able to helping them. A lot of them are unemployed likewise. And so sometimes we come up with different ideas to try and assist them, you know. A lot of people sometimes are afraid of employing people who are mentally challenged. So it's very difficult for us sometimes to place them somewhere, but we come up with different ways to be able to assist them.
Let me ask you this, Maria. How does the group approach individuals in terms of offering assistance? Because, you know, sometimes, as you would say, if someone is walking the street, they're homeless, you know, they're disoriented for some reason or the other. How does the group go about approaching these individuals? I said, do you go to the mental home per se, or the mental hospital, and get it, or is it that you just see individuals on the street that you approach and offer them? How do you approach individuals and offer them assistance?
Well, we work closely with the mental hospital because Dr. Spencer is a member of the group. He works at the mental hospital, and we have other persons there. So we work with them and we get the names of patients, and Dr. Spencer is also familiar with most of them. So most of them know Dr. Spencer, so he can interact with them better. They will understand him better. So that's how we approach.
Is it more on a outreach in terms of when they've been discharged, especially that's where the group fit comes in there?
Mostly, yes. Mostly outpatients. Yes. Mostly outpatients. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we work with them. We identify them. You know, we have some in St. George's, some in St. Andrews. So I say they spread throughout the island.
Being a small number that you have. The group you have already.
Yes. Yes. So it's kind of a difficult way. So sometimes we reach out to organizations, like we went to Belmont Estate in St. Andrews, Belmont, and we asked them to assist us with in terms of feeding some of them, those who are on the street in St. Andrews. So we try to go out to different places and try to see how, because eating is very important, because when they have to take their medications, they must take it on a full stomach most of the time. So if they don't eat, they can't take it, and so it's really it's a big thing, and it's really challenging. It's really challenging. We don't have all of the answers, so if there's anybody out there who may be able to assist us, we're asking for that sort of assistance to be able to stem this problem, because this is a nationwide thing. As I said, there are increasing patients. admitted at the hospital. So with that increase, when they're discharged, we have to step in.
Okay, let me ask you this, because the reason why I'm asking this, I saw your keen interest in terms of how you were listening to Serina when she was speaking, and the question goes back to the question that I asked her. You understand, in terms of your organization. I'm assuming there's been a lot of individuals who are part of it, have some sort of studied or have a bit of a knowledge of an individual with this kind of disorder, per se. And it goes back to knowing, or I don't know if you can share that bit of information with our listening and viewing audience this morning in terms of the mindset of individuals with those disorders. How does your grouping fit in there?
Well, as I explained before, most of the times we depend heavily on Dr. Spencer and the staff at the Monge Hospital. So we collaborate with them a lot to be able to help us in understanding what goes on with the patients.
Well, it's not. I don't hope I'm putting you on the spot there with that per se, with that particular, because sometimes it needs someone of more who have that technical.
Dr. Spencer,
to answer that.
The others at the Monge Hospital, they are the ones who take lead in that area. Let
me ask this question in this way now. Now we know coming up on Monday will be the 10th will be the international. Is it the 10th or the Monday the 10th?
Monday the 10th.
Monday the 10th. All right, that will be International World Mental Health Day. What are some of the activities that the grouping have organized or plan on doing on that day?
Okay, I'll take that. Well, part of the media blitz, trying to get out there to get information out there.
Like this,
yes, we're doing that. Tomorrow, the spiritual aspect of it. Tomorrow, Saturday, we're having at 6 p.m. We're inviting everyone. Whether you have a family member who's challenged, whether you have a friend, whether you just want to be there, there's going to be a mass at the Cathedral of Immaculate Conception from 6 p.m. And I must say that Bishop Harvey was very welcoming when I reached out to him. And on Sunday, if you cannot make the mass on Saturday evening, there's going to be a service at the Caliste Open Bible Church at 10 a.m. Now I understand that the Caliste Open Bible Church has always been there for the Friends of the Mentally Ill. So that's the relationship that we have. We're also expecting to have a message by the Minister for Health and Wellness and Religious Affairs, that's Senator the Honorable Jonathan Lecret.
Okay.
That's the scaled back activities that we're having, because we're just regrouping as a result of COVID, and so we want to get education out there because of COVID and because people need to understand that their family members and other people in society who may have a mental illness, they're not nothing. It's not like they're nothing. They are someone. They're somebody. You raised the Natalie spoke about unemployment, and it is a problem. Many people don't want to hire someone whom they are aware of who has a mental illness. And as a matter of fact, my experience with this is that I recall going to a business place to pitch an idea for a business. And at the round table, one of the persons in the group said, "So, aren't you crazy?" in a business setting. And I guess that was meant to make me feel low or less. And I was just sitting there and I was just laughing in my mind because I'm like, you don't know who you're talking to. I don't give a. I don't care if you think I'm crazy, whatever. I'm a human being. I have a challenge and I am living with it. I'm taking care of myself. As well as a colleague recently said in my presence, "Hey, is she crazy?" And I was just looking at the person like, that shows your level of education and your level of evolution. And I just let it, because I as my background is in journalism, and mental health, mental illness in Grenada, really to understand where we are. I did a research. I did some interviews, and I reached out to different organizations and so on. And I was asking the question: have people come to you to see? I spoke with the Grenada Employers Federation. I spoke with the Ombudsman. I spoke with Grenada. The Labor Commission, and I was told have people come with you who are mentally challenged, who have a disorder. Have they come to you to report that they were refused the job because of the illness? And the resounding response was no. The reason being is that people may not feel empowered enough to come forward and say, hey, I was refused a job because of my mental illness. The person does not understand that I am taking medication or, that sort of thing. I'm taking care of myself. Just like people with diabetes, they are taking medication. And even though you're on medication for diabetes, there are times when you might just have, your insulin might spike for some reason, and you might have some sort of shock or whatever. People with mental illness, though they're on medication, might have something might happen, Let
me ask you this. I mean, in Grenada today, you being someone who suffered from the disease, per se, how is the acceptance of individuals in Grenada?
Oh, there's stigma. I mean, as I pointed out, in the workplace, the way the people address you is like, oh, she crazy, aren't you crazy, that sort of thing, and they look at you in a sort of way, and I'm just like, I really don't care what you think. I know who I am, and I've done so much work to get to where I am.
So you still say that folks in this beautiful island of still mindset has not grown?
This is the reality. That's why we're doing this. We need to do education, and we need to do education within the church. So because people go to the pastor and the priest, so the pastors and priests have to understand where things are. We would like to go into the schools as well, because what Miss says is gospel. I mean, as a child, if Miss see the rain coming and sunshine, I tell my mother, Miss see the rain coming, and Miss right. Okay? So we need to get people to understand, hey, it's like a broken foot. It's like a lost limb. You just have to understand that people are wired, but that way we are wired differently. In general, we are all wired differently.
So true. We drew for another break. We take it and we're coming back with more conversation with Maria and this morning, and of course Samantha pertaining to Serina. My bad with names, so forgive me. Probably I have a little illness myself. Anyway, let's take that break, folks. We coming right back. Don't touch it out.
Most anticipated event to end 2022 is here. The 12th edition of the Wagiti Super Knockout Football Championship starts on Saturday, 15th October at the Victoria Park, Grenville. It's two big opening games. From 7 p.m. Game 1, 5 Stars St. Andrew versus St. David's United. 9 p.m. Game 2, Moncton Sports Club versus Sunsetter Sports Club. Then after the games, we head stateside for the young and upcoming trending Jamaican artists. 450. 450. Alongside Vanessa Bling.
One man, give me good loving, yeah.
The Octane Band and top local artists. Letneck, Mr. Wacky, and Brighter Store. Admission only $40. For all this action, the 12th edition of the Wagiti Super Knockout is on. Don't miss a game.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pockets every month. Plus now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
I'm a winner, you are winner, we are winners.
It's the big one. Grenada Grenada. Imagine winning $25,000 and up to 6 times by scratching just one lotto ticket. Get your triple cash scratch tickets for a chance to live your best life. Win easy with Scratch. For just $3, match any of your numbers to any of the winning numbers and win the prize shown for that number. Reveal a money back symbol and win the prize instantly. Triple cash scratch in stores now. Must be 18 or older to play.
Cause I'm a winner. From the moment that I get up, I'm feeling right.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. This morning, I will be offering the opportunity for you listeners and viewers out there to chime in on this program in a short, maybe in the final 10 minutes. So that should be in about 6 or 7 minutes from now, where you have the option of calling in and asking questions to Serina and Maria, and they will will answer it once they're able to. Serina, let me ask you this particular question, because you seem to be the more vocal one here, not even with Maria at all. The more vocal one here this morning. Now, in terms of government legislation and so forth towards the mentally ill, how is that affecting individuals of that nature, or is there more that could be done?
Definitely, there needs to be reform. As I said before, due to my background in journalism, I did a video report, a series on mental health, and you can find it on YouTube, Serina Mitchell Worlds, and I spoke with the lawyer, Ruggles Ferguson, excellent, because he was contacted by PAHO, Pan American Health Organization, back in 2004 to start looking at our act, Mental Hospitals Act, which dates back to 1895. We are following an act from 1895. Do the math. 120 some years. Okay?
They have evolved.
And there has been evolution in how people with mental illnesses are treated. And one of the things he said is that they did consultations in 2010 around that time throughout throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and they were on the road, doing the consultation, trying to understand where people are, because you're realizing that to help people with mental illness, it has to be a community approach, family and community. Well, community, family falls in there, and there needs to be reform of the hospital act. We cannot be dealing with one of the things he pointed out, you can have a conversation with him because he's excellent. He pointed out the fact that the language in the act alone alienates people with mental illness. It talks about lunatics, and that sort of thing. And even when you have situations where someone might just go off, they never knew that they had a mental illness. For example, he cited the case where the man chopped the head off of the two people and presented the head in a bag to the police. They had people, they have to go back to that act. We don't have anything to help people, because people need help. I'm not saying that if someone commits a crime, a heinous crime, you have to just slap them on the wrist, because you can't do that. They have to get help. Okay, so I think that when I reached out to the Minister for Health, he was welcoming to do a message. I would like to, as part of the transformation agenda, that they look at mental health and look at the act. Talk to Mr. Ruggles Ferguson, talk to PAHO, because work has been done. That was like 10, 12 years ago. Maybe they have to revisit certain things, but there is need for reform. There is need to treat people with mental illness within the act, within the legal community, as human beings. Because if you have an act just throwing people off as just lunatics, I'm not running around doing all sorts of things. That's in my mind, that's what lunatic is. I could be wrong. I'm not Oxford or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, this needs to be visited, and change is necessary there.
I agree. Certainly agree with that.
Definitely.
Well, I certainly hope that, that could happen sooner or later. Because, you speak a lot of pertaining to these things, and sometimes in the process of you speak, we ourselves treat people like that.
Definitely.
You understand? We ourselves treat people like that. We say, well, he's off, so I cannot do him anything or say anything to that individual. And we see that happen from time to time. The abuse, per se.
Yes.
That happens to individuals who have that particular way about themselves. We see that happening. We will invite a couple of your phone calls, 435-2041, 435-2041, and we will take a couple of questions, and I'm sure Serina and Maria will try their best to answer if it's within the nature of the conversation. Let's take our very first caller. Caller, good morning, and how are you? Caller, you may have to lower your radio or whatever device that you may have in the background. I would not be able to accommodate that call. And once I hear that squeaking in the background and so forth, I will not be able to allow you to continue. So fix that before you call in, please. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Tellisford. Greetings and greetings to your guests. I'm rather enthused with the conversation I'm hearing this morning, and I ask myself, where were these people prior? These are matters that we have to speak about every day. You said it a while ago, sister. You spoke of how we are referred to people as lunatics, and there's another one, they use imbeciles in the laws of the country. A country ruled by colonialist agents of kings and queens. That is why they don't respect people like us. We have to clamor for rights established by international law. I fully agree that you hammer support 110 times. But we have to make noise for our rights. These people who suffer with mental deficiency are Grenadians just like us. There's something serious that we have to do. Reconstitute this nation. We cannot continue to live under a constitution or so-called constitution made by a queen. We need our own constitution to attend to the needs of our people through inputs of our own people. New constitution now through a constituent assembly. I challenge those colonialists and their representatives in this here country to set out in the parliament of this country a referendum to ask the people of this country if we so desire to continue to live under what's his name now? Charles Rex the Third, or if we want to write our constitution for ourselves so that we can take care of our people as independent Canadian men and women. Thank you very much. It was just a comment. Have a nice day, will you?
Thank you so much, sir. And as usual, Mr. Ruler will certainly have something that is very important to speak about, despite in the manner in which he brings it across at times.
He's very passionate. That is welcoming, and we need many more people like himself. Make noise. He asked us to make noise. I want him to make noise as well, because you can't rest it on the shoulders of just Friends of the Mentally Ill. He can also join Friends of the Mentally Ill to help us make noise for reform, for change, because as you know, he pointed out, imbecile is in there, lunatics in there. We need to look at the legal aspect of it. And thank you, sir, whomever you are. Thank you for sharing.
All right, let me take this comment that was made here via the Facebook page, Ernesto, before I get into trouble with that individual, so not posting that comment they're making. They're saying, maybe you could agree or disagree with it. They're saying that lack of education causes ignorance when persons are not educated, or when people per se are not educated on what is mental illness. How can we understand or know how to treat one who suffers with such an illness? That's why our Department of Health should take an active role in getting the information out and doing the health clinics, which can certainly help combat mental health illness. Well,
that comment, I must say that we can't rest it on the shoulders of the Ministry of Health alone. This is not something they can spearhead it. We would be happy as Friends of the Mentally Ill to join with them and any other organization. But I'm a person, it doesn't matter who, whatever. What I see is that the government cannot do it alone. I don't care who's in power or whatever. Government cannot do it alone.
It's a societal thing.
I can speak to the fact that when I did the interviews, I spoke with Bishop. I can speak to my conversation with Bishop Harvey of the Roman Catholic Church in Grenada, where he said that one of the things they want to do is train people to help people with mental illness and families in the community. That is something that the church wants to do because as he said, Monge can't do it alone.
Exactly.
So he's going in that direction, that there's need for community approach. And again, yes, the Ministry of Health has to do something. There's a lot they have to do, but they cannot do it alone.
All right. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning. I am so glad hearing that program this morning because I have a son he goes to the mental all the time. But how I have to get him to go up there is through the police. And to me now, the police get tired of bringing him up there when I call them because he will get on course and use threat to me and to his brothers and things like that, and it's really disturbing. So I'm really happy to hear that program this morning, and I need some kind of help because what is that I call the police for him. They hold him for the day down there. They didn't do anything to him. He take my phone. He went with my phone. Up to now, I don't get back the phone. The police said do anything to him more than they just let him go. And he does come and threaten me and things like that. And to me, the police get fed up of bringing him to Monge because the only time he go to the Monge is when through the help of the police. The last time they telling me call Monge to come for him. When I call Monge, they tell me that is the police work. I live at Grand and South and Scheme. That is the police work. And the police, sometimes I have to call 119 to get there to them because I'm calling them and sometimes they don't answer the phone. They give me no hearing at all.
All right, caller. Thanks for your contribution.
I get fed up with the police in Grand and they calling for my son. So I'm so glad to hear that program to get that help this morning.
All right. I'm certainly sure you understand where the caller is coming from. And maybe, of course, you could give us a number where you probably could offer some assistance. I'm not sure the level of assistance you may need to, depending on the level of the individual.
Where we are at this time is the fact that with the legal reframing of things, as I was saying before, mental health, mental illness, the treatment needs as a support needs to come from community. And anytime someone starts acting up with a mental illness, the police, they're called.
Yes.
And reality is that's not their job. I mean, that's where I'm coming from. I could be wrong. Don't shoot me. But I don't think that's their job. Their job is to enforce laws and protect and whatever else. Mm-hmm. That's why we need to revisit the act. We need to make changes because there should be a community response team per se, whereby nurses are trained. Police, I'll call them police, associated with the response team to come and work with that individual.
And offer assistance in terms of helping to sue the individual, offer them some kind of getting them to a calm nature.
Yeah, I honestly don't think that that's the police job. There should be people trained with the community response team to do such in the community.
All right. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning and welcome. Good morning, caller. Caller, there seems to be a problem with your phone or the sort, so you may have to have that checked out and call us back. Interesting in terms of the calls this morning, it seems that we may not know in the situation of how mental health is affecting communities out there, especially families, per se. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Because you heard from the woman, she's fed up. She doesn't know what to do with her son. He threatens her. She calls the police are fed up. People are fed up with people with mental illness, and you should not be fed up. There should be support offered, and there should be a system in place to provide that support. That's what I think.
All right. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning. The mentally ill person, there is a situation whereby people don't give them any responsibility because they don't trust their judgment. Now, that is a kind of predicament by itself. Then the second part of what, something else I would like to say, is bipolar, a fancy word for craziness or madness, whatever it is. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Why are you laughing at?
No, he's being real. He doesn't understand. No, bipolar is one of many disorders or illnesses that have been studied and given a name according to behaviors associated with it. In the past, it was called manic depressive. Okay, so the person with bipolar, bi meaning two, you can be manic, all over the place, doing all kind of thing, running, whatever. You can be depressed. Okay, so you can move from being depressed to being manic. Right. So in layman's term, it's not just crazy, but that's understanding the behaviors associated with that disorder. All right. So that's what I can share.
I mean, I applaud you, someone who's suffering in that particular way about yourself with your life, but you still have that openness in terms of describing the nature of things that's going on.
It's
because a lot of people with that particular problem per se would not be able to do what you're doing. How is it you do what you do? Before we take another call, I'd just like to ask you that.
It's in my nature. I wished to hide and not have to say anything, but the master above wants me to talk, and so I use my ability to express to do so. And in expressing, my hope is that someone living with the disorder or another disorder, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, anxiety, whatever, the list goes on, that they can find some sort of hope, because you're not alone. And there's help for you, and we have a Facebook page. We're developing because as Maria pointed out, it's retired persons, and we need people who are more tech savvy and out there to get things going.
All right.
Many people.
Stick up in there. We do have a caller. Caller, good morning. Sorry for keeping you there holding for a bit. Good morning to you.
No problem, man. I listening. Good morning to you. And good morning to your guests. Have a good day, ma'am. Take a bow. Hats off to you. That's a step in the right direction. I'll tell you something. I thought it would have been gotten, but I have an organization that is now registered, and we are both trying to put our programs together, and all this thing is part of our program. It's a very, very big, ambitious group, and we are coming in those areas. I'll tell you something, ma'am. So, when I put my thoughts together, I think we are really, really badly off in this country. My statements most of the time is we are losing mental capacity, and I am saying that for a very, very, very long time, because I recognize that we're going down that alley, and the biggest culprit to the situation causing those things is the politics. And let me say politicians and leaders generally in the society. There is too much stress, and we perhaps don't understand what stress do to the mind. And we continue to put stress on the society day by day, and not realizing that we are causing our people to lose mental capacity. And when I say mental capacity, we're losing our mind gradually. And those who are doing it are not aware that they're doing it. They continue to it day by day. And if we're not careful, we're not paying attention to that, we are going to damage the whole society. Thanks to GBN, that is doing a fantastic job. If hadn't it been for GBN over the years, I don't know where the society would have been. But ma'am, my hat's off to you, and we are coming, my group is coming to help in those situations, because it is very critical to the society.
Thank you so much, Gola. Thank you so much. Serina and Maria, we have come to that time of the morning where we got to wrap up, because we could probably be here all morning talking about this. We could be here all morning. I certainly see that direction we're going already. You understand? I want to thank you folks for coming in this morning. It's been a pleasure having you, especially you, Serina. Your story is touching. I'm sure there are lots of folks out there who are feeling, what you spoke about this morning, and probably going through the same situation, and you and may not have had the assistance or able to get themselves through the whole situation that you have, and be able to speak out, because there are folks who are going through this particular problems in their life and are unable to speak about it. Don't have the assistant, don't have the family care and so forth to go out and get themselves taken care of. And then we know what we see what happened to them, and they become just out there in society, as you say, the vagrancy and so forth steps in. You understand? And certainly appreciative of this. I wish we could do this another time and get some more of you. You understand? Maria, I want to thank you once again for popping by. Interesting. And hope that the group will get the assistance that they needed, because program like this do offer the assistance, get you the recognition per se. You understand? Because sometimes folks don't know there are groups out there who need those sort of assistance. We just heard from the final caller, he have a group in there that's certainly going to come on offer assistance, and certainly hope they will get in contact with you folks.
Yes.
And Serina did mention also there's a Facebook page. Any other information you would like to give out that will go to the public of it, that will aid in terms, maybe they want to get in contact, they're hearing this program this morning, and they may want to offer you some financial assistance in order to help this group do what they do to help individuals out there. And any final comments or anything you want to throw before we take a wrap this morning?
Well, for me, I just want to say that mental illness is no respecter of persons. So it's very important how we treat each other. We should not call people names. We should not ridicule people. We should treat people with respect. And mentally ill persons are human beings, and they have feelings. So we must treat them with love and respect.
All right, thank you so much. And in fact, thinking of Serina, don't take the whole morning with me again. That's what you this morning. Anything before we wrap?
I just want to remind people that if you want to come out and worship with us, there is the Mass at the Immaculate Conception Cathedral, 6 p.m. tomorrow Saturday, and also the Calais Open Bible Church at 10 a.m. on Sunday. And of course, as Maria said, we are human beings, we are people, we have feelings, and words do hurt. Well, I'm at a point where I don't care, but many people are still growing in their feelings, and so remember that we're all human beings, no matter what label that is thrown on us.
All right. Once again, thank you so much, and especially our viewing and listening audience this morning. Those of you contributed some way or the other, we thank you so much. Our final edition of To The Point for this week. Join me again on Monday for another edition. This is where I say goodbye to our viewing and listening audience. Have yourself a great day and a good weekend to come.